The following is a presentation of Studio Audrain, powered by the Mexico Ledger.
Hey everyone, it is the Mexico Ledger Saturday morning sports show live on Facebook from Slumberland here in Mexico. And it's a cold Saturday in December, but it was a hot atmosphere at the Centralia High School last night as we welcome in our first guests, Centralia Lady Panthers basketball seniors Braylin Brunkhorst, Madi Johnson, and Madilynn Hunter. And thanks for coming out this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it was back to back, 4 in a row. You guys have won the Centralia tournament. Kind of talk a little bit about the atmosphere last night to start off with. We'll start off with you, Braylin.
I thought it was really great. Of course, we had our student section and all the people that came out and support. We really appreciate it. Filling the stands. It definitely makes it a lot more fun to play in.
Absolutely. How has playing together over the years kind of shaped your bond on and off the court?
I think our bond is something special, and the way we play together is I think a big part of the reason of why we're so good. Yeah, the team chemistry is definitely something you don't find very often.
How do you maintain that standard year after year after year of being, the tops in the conference and in your class, if you will?
I think that our coaches keep us to a high standard, and I think that's something that's really important to all of us. And we also have good leadership within the team too.
No doubt. Well, Braylin, you're a two-time All-State player. You've signed with Missouri S&T. Kind of talk a little bit about what drew you to that program.
It was definitely one of those places. It sounds cliche, but when you go there and it feels like home, I felt very welcomed. And then of course I got to meet all the girls, and it just seemed like the right environment. I'd fit in, and the coaches were amazing, the facilities were amazing, and I'm really excited for this next chapter.
Absolutely. Maddie, Coach kind of relies on your defense and your three-point shooting. How do you prepare mentally for that role?
Basically just lockdown defense. My goal is, scores. The other person scores as least as possible, and then three-pointers, it's pretty much all I practice at practice. So.
Heck yeah, nice. Madilynn, you're kind of known for doing the dirty work under the rim, if you will. How do you get in that mindset? You kind of come off the bench in the big games, if you will.
On the bench, you really just hear about everything. So going in, just doing the little things right, and really just paying attention to the small details and staying locked in.
Absolutely. Let's kind of talk about December basketball. It's, I know you're probably doing a lot of practice, but you also get that break in between there. How do you kind of manage that going into game time situations, into practice? How do you manage the holiday break?
Well, this year we actually are playing, is it the Jeff City Grade 8?
Grade 8.
Yeah.
So we'll play the 27th and 28th and 29th of December. So, it's not much of a break, but definitely I know these are my best friends and I love being around them, and I'm really excited, and I think we'll see some great teams in that tournament that will help us postseason and on the long run.
For you, how are the holidays? As she said, you're going right into the Grade 8 tournament. Kind of talk a little bit about your preparation for that.
I think definitely not getting a break gets us prepared, and I think that's we wouldn't want to be in any other spot. But I think we've been preparing since the first day of practice for no matter what we come upon. So,
Madilynn, talk about some of the goals for the second half of the season. I know there are very high expectations. Some of your personal goals, if you will.
I think the team overall has big goals, but we're doing one step at a time, and I think that we just need to take one step at a time too. So. Obviously we want to have a good run after season, but I do think that just one step right now.
Yeah. Braylin, is that kind of the mentality, one step at a time, don't look ahead too far?
Yeah, we always say in practice, one day at a time, get 1% better each day. So, obviously don't want to look too far forward and think we still have important games in between, and just staying locked in and focused during practice.
Maddie, talk a little bit about your coach and what she means to this program and kind of to you as a player.
To me as a player, she's very special, and I think to our program, she's also very special. Her coming to Centralia and being also a 4-time in a row Centralia tournament champ is something you don't see very often, I guess. And I think that's the reason this program is where it's at. Is she plays a huge role in helping us out and get us to where we need to be.
Of course, we want to shout her out here. Coach Brinkman is who we're talking about this morning. You guys are undefeated on the season so far, and the next is going to be in Jefferson City. Is that's where you're headed to next, correct? Or
No, we'll play Q&D next Wednesday, and I think it's John Woods. It's like a shootout thing at
Yeah.
4:30.
Now, Q&D is over in Illinois.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that, that arena. I've been over there before. It's kind of a cool little atmosphere over there, isn't it?
So we'll actually play at John Woods.
Oh, you will? Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a shootout
Yeah.
type deal.
All right.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. They'll be definitely tough competition. We played them last year. We won, but it was a close game. So definitely we'll have to be locked in for sure.
All right. Well, we appreciate you all getting up early this morning. We want to have you guys back in as the season progresses, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on Centralia Lady Panthers basketball.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. Best of luck on the rest of the season. Our seniors here to start off the show, Braylin Brunkhorst, Maddie Johnson, and Madilynn Hunter. And thank you guys for coming out. We do want to thank our studio sponsor, Slumberland Furniture of Mexico. As you can see, our backdrop here. Also, Weber Family of Pharmacies, the Arthur Center Community Health, Mexico School District, Community R6 School District, and we have a new sponsor this morning, Vanfar School District. So we want to thank all of our sponsors for coming on and supporting local sports. As we bring in our next guest here this morning, she's all bundled up and, trying to stay warm. Grace Hudson from Mexico Lady Bulldogs basketball. Thanks for coming out this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Grace, last season was kind of cut short a little bit due to an injury. What was the toughest part of that experience for you?
Definitely the mental side of things, like having to sit on the bench and watch them when I wish I was out there was very hard, and they had a very long run, which was good for them, but at times it was hard to be loud and confident on the bench as I was sitting there hurting and in pain, but it got better throughout the season, and it definitely helped me to have to get that experience, and it kind of still helped me in today's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the injury. Was it a leg injury?
I fractured my patella.
My goodness gracious. What did that rehab process look like for you? How long did it go?
It was about 5 months.
Yeah.
And then a lot of PT. I was in a straight leg and crutches for about 3 months.
Wow.
And then I was able to bend it to a certain degree. And then I was walking, and then PT, and then I was going back at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of looking now and back, you're on the court again this year and leading the team again. What does that feel like being back there? And are you back to 100%, you think?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, I was kind of stressful, and I wasn't sure how it would go because it's nerve-wracking because what if I get hurt again? But it's definitely a good thing, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
No doubt. Let's talk a little bit about the season. You guys are off to a 2-3 start. Had a pretty nice Montgomery County tournament. Had a nice win this week to open up conference, win over Marshall. Kind of your assessment of where the team is at right now.
I think we have a lot of work to do. We don't always take practice seriously, so that's something we're definitely going to have to work on if we want to go far again. But I think we're getting there, and with winning that first conference, the confidence is starting to come back, and I think we just have to keep working if we want to go far, and I think we can really go almost as far as last year, if even farther, with the team we have. We work together very well.
No doubt. What do you think the biggest strength of this year's team is, if you had to pinpoint at that?
I would say the biggest strength is the way that we can read each other. We all do a very good job of knowing where someone's at or where they're going, and all of us can just see the floor very well.
Absolutely. What are your goals for conference play this season? Of course, winning the conference, I'm sure, would be
Yes.
nice, and you're off to a 1-0 start.
Yeah.
So a strong start.
Definitely winning conference. And then for the season, just having more wins than losses.
Kind of curious as to what part of your game you've worked on the most since coming back from your injury.
Definitely the mental side. Just always trying to do my best and just keep pushing through no matter how bad it hurts or if I want to stop, just keep going until it's over.
All right. Well, we want to wish you the best of luck. Are you guys doing anything over the holidays? Or what comes next for Mexico Lady Bulldogs basketball?
We're doing a overnight tournament in Windsor.
Wow, you're going to play all night long? No.
I wish.
No, I wish. Windsor, that's a ways off. So a tournament there.
Yeah.
When does that take place? Is it next week or
I think it's the 27th.
27th? Okay, right after Christmas.
Yeah, somewhere right around there.
Be a good test. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to let you rest up. We appreciate you getting up early for the Saturday morning sports show. Glad to have you back, and best of luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
She is Grace Hudson, Mexico Lady Bulldogs basketball star. We once again want to thank our sponsors, our studio sponsors, Slumberland Furniture of Mexico. We do our show live from here every week. A big thanks to Logan Ray. Come out and check out all the deals here. And we also want to thank Weber Family of Pharmacies. They support local sports and the Arthur Center Community Health, Mexico School District, Community R6 School District, and our new sponsor, the Vanfar School District. As we bring in our next guest, Centralia. We're heading back there. As a matter of fact, the activities director, Mr. Josh Lancaster, thanks for coming out this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having us out and kind of letting us showcase Centralia a little bit with the
Absolutely.
girls and what we got going on.
It's a lot of fun talking to you guys, especially during tournament week. I know that it's probably been very, very busy for you. Just kind of talk a little bit about this year's tournament, how things been going there. I'm sure a lot of people have been filling up the gym at the high school.
Yeah, especially, last night was, I think, really packed house. It's been a good week. It's the 70th year of our tournament, so there's a lot of experience at this point. We have a lot of great people that help out and want to be part of our tournament, so it kind of makes running it actually pretty smooth for the most part. With it being this week in December, you're usually looking at Mother Nature, and she can kind of be the usual biggest speed bump to our tournament. But so far, she's been kind to me the last 2 years of running this tournament. So I really appreciate Mother Nature helping me out and kind of keeping it simple. So, no, it's been, it's great. It's, like you said, it's 70th year. Let's kind of the community show off what we do and how we host things. And
Yeah, absolutely. Talk a little bit about what's going to happen today. I think there's going to be a consolation game. There will be the championship game. Go over those games with us, if you will.
Yeah, we got our boys trophy night tonight. So kicks off consolation boys game at 5 o'clock. Centralia plays North Callaway. Kind of a rematch of a game that happened about 10 days ago over at North Callaway. So third place game is going to be Vanfar and Salisbury. That'll be about 6:30, and then Hallsville will take on Moberly in the championship at about 8.
All right, let's kind of talk a little bit about some recent success. Boys cross country team for Centralia won back-to-back state titles. What do you kind of think has been the key to their consistency and their success?
I think it's a culture.
Yeah.
And it's kind when you say culture, sometimes that can be really hard to describe. I think our head coach Jason Waterman took over about 10 years ago, and he, this is more his story, but when he started, he kind of instituted this thing called a weekly pasta feed, and and it was something he had done at prior places he had been coaching soccer, and it just something that kind of caught on, and the kids, it got the kids initially excited and kind of involved and wanting to be part of his program. But then, when you go see them now, whether it's at a meet or just around school or at practices, they're their biggest cheerleaders. They're each other's biggest fans. They all have individual goals they want to accomplish and their individual honors and recognitions, but they're there for each other. And it's really become this kind of family culture that they've created where they're really just about each other in the program.
No doubt. We would be remiss if we didn't mention the wrestling team. They brought home a state championship last year. How did that moment impact the community and the school? Because I know, Centralia is a big football town, but they're really just as big of a wrestling town, too.
Yeah. Coach Gramke and our entire wrestling staff are incredibly knowledgeable, and they're very cerebral and strategic about how they go about approaching things with the kids. They know the kids inside and out. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, and they know best amongst the staff of how to help each kid. It's their second title. It was their second title in 3 years. And even on top of that, they've won state trophies. I think it's 6 straight years running. In fact, so somewhere around there. Don't quote me on that, but kind of like it. Same thing with with cross country. Like they've built this culture and this expectation, and now others want to be a part of it. You see it. There's a sizable youth wrestling club in Centralia, and it's kind of this thing that kind of builds and feeds itself, and we've got good people in place kind of helping feed that culture. And I think community, Centralia is a good community. It's got good people, and I think they take pride in who they are and the hard work that goes into whether it's winning a state title or just being competitive at a state championship type level, whether you win it or not, is something they take pride in. But it's the hard work that goes into it, and it's not that things are given. It's not it becomes the expectation, but it becomes the expectation because they put in the work to do it. And you look at the kids that whether they wrestle or they cross country, man, those are sports that you have a team component to it, but are also very individual heavy. So it requires a lot of discipline from those kids, whether it's a healthy diets, off-season training, everything that goes into it. I think those are things that are representative in many ways of what Centralia is about.
No doubt. I know a lot of coaches push athletes to be two-sport athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Try a little bit of everything. Do you kind of encourage that with some of the athletes that you talk with at Centralia?
Yeah, we have a lot, just good kids in general, let alone good athletes. We think a lot of our coaching staff, we think we have incredible people that we want our kids to be around as much as they can be throughout the years. So, when you look at the success our sports are having right now, and we've gone through a really good run over about the last 8 to 10 years especially, but it has Centralia has a good history in general. Most of them are multi-sport athletes. We had a signing day ceremony last week. I think 4 of the 5 kids that signed are multi-sport athletes. Still multi-sport athletes, and you've got kids that are signing at a Division I level it would be really easy for a Madi Johnson, who was sitting here earlier, or Rex Bryson. She's going to Missouri State for softball. Rex Bryson's going to Buffalo for wrestling. It would be really easy to say, well, I've got this thing. Why I don't need football. I don't need girls' I don't need those things. Nope, that's not. And that's in many ways it's an expectation. That's what we do. Our parents expect that of their own kids. So it's really easy for us. I don't really have to have a whole lot of conversations about multi-sport athletes because they just are. They see themselves as athletes. Yes, I'm a softball player, or a wrestler, or a basketball player, or a football player, but they're athletes.
Absolutely. Centralia tournament going on tonight. People can purchase a ticket at the door.
Yep.
Okay.
Adults $4. 55 plus is $2. Students are $1. Pack it out, be there. I know it's supposed to be cold tonight, so come sit in a warm gym and watch some good basketball for 3 or 4 hours.
Absolutely. It will be the place to be tonight at the Centralia High Schools. The Centralia tournament wraps up. Hang out with me for just a second, Josh, as we wrap up the show. We want to go over a couple of things here. Let's start off with Mizzou football. They have been named, selected to the Gator Bowl to take on Virginia. They are favored to win that at this point. What do you think Mizzou's chances are of coming out with a victory at the Gator Bowl?
In this day and age of college sports, part of the question is who's going to the bowl game for Mizzou? Is everybody going? Or, I don't think we don't always know the answers to those. Coach Drink has done a good job of just acquiring talent. You look at the toughness this team has. They took 4 losses this year to teams that are all ranked in the top 12 or 13, and most of those were games that came right down to the end. They've got a good squad. They've got a good, they are tough. If our dudes are showing up, I think Virginia's they're going to have a hard time scoring. I think we're going to run they're going to do what they do, run the ball down their throats, and I think Mizzou's got a pretty good shot.
Yeah, all right, you heard it here first. The Chiefs' playoff chances seem to be slipping away week after week, especially after that loss to Houston last week. They've got the Chargers tomorrow. 16% chance of making the playoffs for the Kansas City Chiefs. What do you say? Will the Chiefs make the playoffs this year, or are they going to be sitting at home?
Man, obviously you kind of read off the stats. The odds don't really seem to be in their favor, but man, when Mahomes turns it on, and it's been it seems like a, unusual season for him, and it's even hard to kind of pinpoint with the Chiefs what some of the issues have been this year versus past years. They haven't really even been overly bad. They just, I think last year, I've heard the stat, they were like 10-0 in one-score ball games, and that, I think it's flipped itself this year for whatever reason. So it's hard to see it, but it's also, I'm not a betting man, but I also don't know that I'd bet my money against Mahomes and Andy Reid either. I don't know how confident I would be in that bet. So
yeah,
it doesn't look great, but I wouldn't bet against it either.
Right. Well, I don't think I'm going to win the Powerball tonight at the $1 billion jackpot. I'm not sure the Chiefs make the playoffs, but we are definitely hoping that they do. Want to thank you for coming on the show today, and we'll have you guys on again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting us highlight Centralia and what you guys do to just highlight all the local schools and what they have going on. Thank you.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. As we wrap up the show, we want to send a couple of shout-outs. Mexico senior Drew Dement signed to play baseball in college at Columbia College this week. So congratulations to Drew. The Mexico boys JV team, basketball, they beat Eugene last night by 1 point. They're off to a 2-0 start. Congratulations to Coach Nunley on that. And that's going to wrap up another edition of the Mexico Ledger Saturday Morning Sports Show. Let's thank our sponsors one more time. Studio sponsors, Slumberland Furniture. Come in and check out all of their great deals here. Also, the Weber family of pharmacies, Arthur Center Community Health, Mexico School District, Community R6 School District, and the Van Far School District. Don't forget to tune in to Saturday night's main event tonight as John Cena's last match. You can't see me. He's retiring, but you will see us again next week on the Mexico Ledger Saturday Morning Sports Show, live from Slumberland.
And by
Light up the night with custom-fit Christmas lights for your home. Choose your look this winter from our 16 color options and classic styles. Make sure you win the block this winter. Call or text 573-702-0073. That's 573-702-0073.